guys, I just wanted to share with you something. I am always doing weird content. I don't really make content that is the best for consuming sometimes, so sorry about that. Sometimes this Lone Star Drift channel is just like a journal for myself, and tonight it's kind of like a journal. This is what is called the Tyler Cox Memorial Missile. If you're from Texas, you probably know what it is if you're a Lone Star Drift guy that's been around for a while. People always wondered what happened to this car. They ask me about it and stuff. That's a car. It is nothing to look at right now, but I'm gonna interject whatever, a bunch of footage, because I have lots of footage that's fun and stuff from this car. And I'm gonna tell you a story, and I'm gonna try not to drag on too much, but I'm gonna tell you why this car is important and why I actually bought it back tonight. So I have this car again. It is a complicated car because it's an engine out of my old competition car with a chassis that's the Memorial Missile, and I'm gonna explain who Tyler Cox was. And my neck hurts tonight, so So if you see me crick my neck, sorry about that. You'll notice it in the channel a lot. Sometimes I do stupid stuff to myself. The reason I have all that stuff and everything is because he was an influential original member of kind of the cast of characters that were Texas a long time ago. So that cast was a bunch of people such as myself, Tyler Cox, Chelsea Denofa, Stuart Leask, Russell Walker, and a bunch of other guys. We're kind of the first wave of drivers that got crazy cars. When we would go to D1 GP, No B, Formula D qualifiers, out-of-state events, Formula D or whatever it was, we were kind of a group that used my wedge trailer to travel around the nation and do cool stuff. And while a lot of the group got estranged over time and everything, and we don't talk anymore, or Tyler's dead, or all these things, it's kind of cool just to think about it and everything. Some cool things also about this car: Yokoi from MCR Factory drove it 3 years in a row at Lone Star Drift events. I drove it for a long time. Tezuka from Kids Heart drove the car. It's a cool car. It looks pretty bad right now. I understand that. It's just the theme of all this. I have other footage to put in here. Even after all this time, it's still kind of hard for me to talk about how he died, especially because I wasn't talking to him at the time, really. And we weren't good friends at the time when we'd been really good friends before that. So I was gonna tell you all the details and stuff, but it's not important. He passed away. He was very young when he did so. When somebody dies, it's never great. Fast forward to, he had this missile car, which was a street car, and his family just wanted it removed from the property kind of thing. It was at his dad's business. This car was kind of a mess. It was really cool in the end, but before that, it was just a junk S14 that I think he got down by the border somewhere. It had an SR in it. I don't remember if he swapped it in or what, and he put DG5 coilovers on it, but other than that, it was a full car, super simple, and he passed away, and I went to go get it off the property, and it didn't have a turbo on it, I don't think. I think it was missing the oil pan. It was in really bad shape. It didn't run. There wasn't an ECU in it, I think. It just had a bunch of problems, and it was not a finished car. And back then, a car like that, other than the coilovers, wasn't even worth $1,000. There wasn't even any real, especially since it was a Zinky and stuff, wasn't really any incentive to do anything with it. So I brought it back. I'm not a mechanic, but I kind of tinkered with it and got it running and stuff. I was kind of proud of the fact, and I maintained this car for a long time. I made it very different I kind of made it a project, and I made it very different looking than most cars. I'll show you pictures. It had wide body front and rear, but stock body other than that with a Zinky front, which is something you never saw, and then RPF ones on it. It drove super well and had a unique look on track where you definitely know what car it was, and I called it the Tyler Cox Memorial Missile. And the whole point of the car was to have fun and kind of remember the friend and all these things, and to have a memorial event and a car for the memorial event, because the fancy car wasn't going to be finished and I didn't want to get it totaled out because I didn't know what to do. But the family and I wanted to host a memorial event, and this car was going to kind of do it. So I think the first memorial event, if I remember, was at Texas Motor Speedway, and it was just kind of a show off. And there wasn't a huge theme to it or reason to go other than it was just like a Lone Star Drift event. And it was kind of simplistic in nature, and it was just a drift event. And then, I think that I'm remembering, well, I have a terrible memory. I wanted to make an event for people to really remember. And I was talking to his father because he wanted to put some money into Texas drifting and just sponsor an event. And he's like, I just want something to be really special for everybody and for people to remember Tyler. And he's like, what should I do? And I sat down with some of Tyler's friends, and we came up with the idea of bringing out because we knew somebody in Japan that was a contact with Yokoi and friends with Yokoi, we contacted Yokoi from MCR Factory and we said, would you come over and be a part of one of our events? Because if we had you as a character, it would be the unifying factor that would make that event super special and get people together, even if they didn't know Tyler personally, and make the event special and enjoyable for everyone, and he would be the character of the event. So Yokoi came over for the first memorial event, and he drove this car when it was white and had a blast in it. We had an amazing time. We got to watch a D1 driver in real life. He partied with us, he drank. It was a great time. Then the next year, this car got, I think it was the same thing. It was still SR and everything. I put a little tiny bit bigger turbo on, I think a GTX Garrett 2863, and tuned it for E85. And we brought Yokoi over again. And I don't remember if we brought Tezuka over that same year. It might have just been Yokoi again. And we had either one or two D1 drivers over, and they drove and had a fantastic time, and everything went amazing, and it was a great memorial event. And I think we had 3 of them. So then we brought Tezuka over and Yokoi. Yokoi is the owner of MCR Factory again, and Tezuka is the owner of Kids Heart. And they both drove this car and my S13, which was right-hand drive, because they wanted a right-hand drive car, because they wanted to really show off, because they didn't feel so confident in the left-hand drive car. And we had a problem. So like this car was SR for that entire time. It was a great car. It was super reliable like that because we had a stock ECU and we had a very small turbo and all that stuff. It wasn't throwing rocket arms. It was a really good engine setup. Really fun to drive. I love this car. And then because of the right-hand drive problem and my S13, which had a V8 in it and it was right-hand drive, we swapped the V8 over to this chassis and pulled the SR out and put it in the other chassis. And then this became V8. I always have a ton of drift cars, by the way. They're always cycling in and out. But then this thing became V8 and it had my old dog box in it out of my comp car and everything. They got to drive this. They had a ton of fun. It was a really cool experience. And then this car just kind of developed into the V8 dog box missile car. And I kind of got bored of it. And at the same time, I got really angry at a friend that had built some of my cars for me. And I had this S15 that I got from MCR Factory over here. It was Yokoi's like mountain car. He sold me his car with all these cool parts on it and everything, and I had it over here. And I got very frustrated with this friend of mine that built my cars. And I got rid of those cars because they were kind of beyond me to take care of, and they also reminded me of all the experiences and stuff. So then I sold this car and got rid of it. And I knew it was going to be within the Texas drift community. And as long as it was doing that, I wasn't worried about it. I went to Mario Gomez. He used it as a Pro-Am car. And I knew he was going to build the car up and he was going to do a lot of stuff. I didn't love the fact that they tube framed the back and front. I loved the fact that it was like a full body, full interior car the entire time I had it. But that's neither here nor there. That's their prerogative. They can do whatever they want after I sell the car. I just wanted the car to be loved and used. And then from there, it got sold multiple times to the Gore family, and then it moved on and got a T56 swapped into it, and then they sold it up to Oklahoma, and then I think in Oklahoma it went to someone else, and then it went to someone else, and I just kind of saw the car languishing and not being taken care of, and just by it being left outside and not getting loved and everything, and a bunch of like modifications done to it I didn't really love and stuff, and I thought I should probably get that thing back. I have the means right now to do that. I have the willpower, and I have a YouTube channel to kind of do fun stuff and tell a story. So I can get rid of this car, I can sell it and make some money maybe, I can restore it back to what it used to be, which is the memorial car, I could use it as a missile car. I have all these things I should do. I could kind of ask you guys and see what audience thinks. The engine, real quickly before I get off of this, I'm gonna tell you about the engine. So the engine is very interesting. It is out of the Formula D El Camino back from 2004 and 2005. It is an LS1. It was supercharged in stock back then. Then it got pulled out because that El Camino whole project got junked because of problems with the team, and never saw the light of day again as a drift car. We took the engine, we put rods and pistons and a bunch of stuff in it and like heads and stuff, and it actually made more naturally aspirated when it did supercharge. And I ran that in my S13 for 2007 to like 2012 or 14, I don't know. I don't remember the time frame, but it was one of the first LS1 240SXs ever, which meant it had to have custom headers made and motor mounts and all that stuff, and a friend did that. First thing you'll notice about this car is wheels make a car, and that is incredibly ugly. The previous owner put some like stock 350Z wheels on the car, and that literally ruins the car. It looks terrible. These are not the worst design wheels, but they're black, and black wheels look terrible. Now these fenders are actually from when I had the Missile car. It was stock body with wide body, but like no side skirts, bumpers. I loved it. Stock impact beam, mid-mount intercooler and stuff. The Zinky headlights look terrible. They're Circuit Sport covers, but they're broken and dead and sad looking. The hood, which I had a stock hood on it because I like stock hoods, or at least a stock hood design, has been cut to fit an air filter, which I think is very aesthetically unpleasing. Not to insult the previous owner that did all this stuff. I think that's super ugly. This is actually a kooky fender stolen off a car outside that I didn't do, somebody else did it. The fitment is god awful. That is, I don't even know how they did it that badly. That door is not in too bad of shape. Again, that wheel is awful looking. Unpainted down here. Aesthetically, this is god awful. This makes the whole car look pretty trashy, having all these huge things, especially a side skirt. Does not need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 freaking bolts in it. That is insanity. Same thing up here. These are big self-tappers. It's kind of insulting to a car to hold your fenders on with huge, ugly black self-tappers. So I don't love that. Coming around the car, just lots of body work. They cut all this stuff out. Boop. Cut everything out. And they were making a Formula D car. I get it. They did a bunch of nice fabrication. No big deal. It did have a trunk and everything. All this was here. And they cut it out to make a competition car. But then they made weird choices, like they didn't put a firewall in it. I should be lighting this up. Hood pins, gross. I hate hood pins. Car is super dirty. Inside and out, super dirty. It's stripped out and not painted and stuff. So I could almost put carpet in it to clean it back up. They cut the door bars out so they could fit NASCAR door bars, which is cool for competition stuff, but it meant they cut up the doors, which means it can't be stored outside anymore. Windshield is smashed to pieces. And this is the engine from forever ago. Same main engine. I think someone changed the cam and heads. It's still 13.5 compression, which it was not for most of the life of the car. But I got into E85 a long time ago, and we did that. I kind of think this air filter should be on an elbow that bends down so it fits under a hood and doesn't look so silly. Probably need to change that. My same radiator from forever ago, which is crazy. And it's on fancy DG5 coilovers, which I need to swap over to BCs because those are old and stuff probably. Just a sad front end. So that's kind of the gist of all this. I'm going to, over the next week in some YouTube videos, hopefully I don't get bored and quit YouTubing, I'm gonna clean this car up some. I'm gonna make some aesthetic choices that hopefully for free allow me to make the car look better so I love it. Kind of get reattached to it. There's a bunch of choices which I have to make, such as what do I do to the front end? What do I do to the kit? How do I fix the headlights, hood, front bumper, and fenders to create an aesthetic that I like enough to continue with? These fenders are not wide enough. They're like an old school 25 or 30 mil. So it could use wider fenders. When I buy those along with a hood, I need to decide if I want to do a Zinky setup or a kooky setup, because then I'm locked into the car. If these aren't too terribly broken, it kind of looks like the mounts are broken on them and stuff, and all this looks really janky, I could just get new Circuit Sport headlight covers and then keep the car Zinky, which would save a ton of money. Ideally, I would probably hit up KBD, yo KBD, and put like a body kit on it for a Zinky, since they do make a Zinky front bumper, and that would clean it up a lot. Or I could try and do wide body again and clean this up and see if aesthetically I could make this look like it used to and even paint it back to the same color. And if you look at some of this is really weird. I wonder why they have these, what's missing here. That looks really weird. So that's it. I don't want to make this go forever. I just wanted to tell a story. It's like journaling, self-meditation. Thank you very much for watching. I will do some more content on this. Cut.